So now we're going to talk a little bit about issues you may come across in regards to flow. Now, first of all, let's talk about the system expectation. So this system can perform anywhere from about a half gallon per minute to gallon and a quarter, maybe a little more, but all of that is hugely dependent on your source conditions. Now, what do I mean by that? Now, your source is the spigot that you're hooking up to supply water to your system. Now, that may be a residential home with well water. It may be a city complex with a lot more water pressure, different chemicals inside. Your flow is going to depend on a couple factors. It's going to depend on the size of the hose feeding your system, the temperature of the water, even the temperature of the ground at that point, but we'll go a little more into that. So temperature, hose diameter, and of course, how many gallons per minute your source can produce. Now, all of these things can be measured. An easy way to measure flow is simply get an appropriately sized measuring bucket. Now here I have liters and milliliters. You could always convert that using a phone or the internet to gallons per minute if you choose to measure as such. So what you would do is, depending on how much flow of water you're getting out of your source, if it's a high amount of flow, I would test for 30 seconds and see how far the bucket fills up. And then multiply that result by 2. That'll give you how many liters or gallons per minute, depending on how you measure. So again, your system's performance in regards to flow is highly dependent on those factors. Again, that's temperature, hose size, and how many gallons per minute your source can actually produce. You may find that your source pressure isn't sufficient enough for your system to perform, at which point I would recommend using a booster pump. Now, a booster pump is going to help boost that incoming source water, create more pressure to allow more efficiency through your RO membranes. So bear in mind that some of these circumstances can affect your system's performance when you're going job to job, and it may not be an indication that there's an issue wrong with the system, but rather something to do with the setup. Again, pay attention to your inner diameter of your hose. Pay attention to the temperature of the water. It's colder today. Water's cold, but my system's slow. Well, colder water, more constriction, less flow. So, we'll talk a little bit about diagnosing these issues regarding flow.